Hello Team FD and welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show where we look at the highs and the lows from the weekend just past in the world of football. Speaking of weekends, how was yours, Zachary Jelab?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. Didn't really do too much yesterday. I watched a bunch of films, and Saturday, obviously, watched the mighty England make their way through to the semi-finals of the Euros. So yeah, not too bad. How's yours?
It was wonderful, thank you. Yeah, it was the first England game that I've actually, wherein I've remembered the second half, because I was a little bit steadier on the old Alkmaar Hole. Before we delve into today's show, which of course contains the talking point, a winner and a loser, I do want to of course plug our friends Manscaped. And you might be getting, well versed in this spiel by now, but this is the penultimate episode of Winners and Losers that they're sponsoring. So if you want to show us a little bit of support, make sure you use the discount code on screen now for 20% off their stellar products and free international shipping. Use the link in the description below if you're lazy and don't want to manually input it. Right, let's crack on with the show then. The talking point is Camavinga to Manchester United for £30 million because late last night, transfer guru Fabrizio Romano did tweet that Manchester United are in for him, well in for him. We've known of their interest for quite some time, haven't we? But apparently Manchester United are willing to pay €30 million for the youngster. Let's break it down, Zach. What have you got for me?
Yeah, after standing pretty firm in their stance last season, basically not accepting anything less than £85 million for their young midfielder, it's likely that Rennes will more than likely be selling him for much cheaper this time round. Not least because the 18-year-old, who is 19 in November, only has 1 year left on his contract. There's also a widely held view that his progress stuttered somewhat last season after a really great first year in professional football. Not only did Deschamps say he wasn't sustaining the form he showed with the Les Bleus at club level, Camavinga also went on record to say, "I'm not going to lie to myself, I'm having an average season," which at 18, 17 years old is quite a mature thing to say, especially when obviously he was in contention to go to the Euros. Maybe though this was more pronounced because there was a general slump at Rennes. They finished third in his breakout campaign, whereas last season just gone they finished just 6th. And there are signs to suggest he wasn't as influential in possession. He was only 6th for progressive passes, which is basically moving it 10 yards closer to the opponent's goal from where it started. 7th for passes into the penalty area, and his shot creation numbers were pretty middling, only 1.6. Though he was still averaging 4.5 tackles and interceptions per 90, the most in the squad at 18 years old. He was first for successful pressures, second for passes into the final third. He carried the ball further this season by about 2k yards, 1.6 dribbles per 90, second behind only Jeremy Doku, and 46 passes per game with a 90% pass accuracy. Despite playing in a slightly more advanced position, he did fail to contribute to more goals though, with only 3, the same as the season before, playing slightly deeper. He was taking 1 shot per 90 and having about 0.8 key passes as well. But it's quite hard to decipher. Maybe he just wasn't as important this season, Chris.
Yeah, I think maybe other people stepped up a little bit and his performances weren't as pronounced because in that first season he broke out right. He was pretty much dragging Rennes by the scruff of the neck in various fixtures. One thing is for sure though, Zachary, thank you for that delightful breakdown by the by, is that he'd be a cheaper alternative to Declan Rice, with of course the West Ham man, the other defensive midfielder on Manchester United's radar. But now Jadon Sancho is in the bag. This is clearly the right area to address. I do like the way that Manchester United are going about their summer business so far. Of course, not many transfers in the way of confirmed transfers, but more in terms of who they're interested in. Now, despite the vast array of options that Ole has at his disposal in midfield, which of course includes Bruno Fernandes, albeit in a slightly more advanced position, Paul Pogba, Scott McTominay, Fred, Nemanja Matic, Donny van der Beek, there still isn't a really set midfield there, is there? It was heavily rotated last season. And I'm wondering in my head, would his inclusion or would his purchase lead to even more rotation, or would they expect him to be that guy who can develop, that can progress their double pivot from the off? I mean, he is still young and he's still got, under 50 league starts. so far. But, I mean, youngest player to play for Rennes at 16 years and 4 months. The youngest player to play and score for France, since Maurice Gastiga in 1914. So it is safe to say that he can handle pressure to a certain degree. But, of course, life at the Red Devils, totally different ballgame than performing well for Rennes, who are sort of, if they get a top 6 position, that is a job well done for them. Manchester United, of course, will want to be pressing for the title next campaign. Now, despite Manchester United's eagerness to get the deal done, they're, of course, not the only club competing for his signature, are they? I mean, fellow European heavyweights like Real Madrid and Bayern Munich have cited, pretty heavy interest over the last 18 months. PSG, of course, long thought to be the most obvious destination for him. But his agent, Jonathan Barnett, still putting out the feelers, still not letting on as to who's winning the race. That, of course, might change with Manchester United in the coming days. But Jonathan Barnett, who's, of course, Gareth Bale's agent, did say that in May, believe me, we have a lot of offers for this year, a lot of offers and good ones. So clearly he sees a move materialising pretty quickly. Now, one factor that might sway Camavinga is his relationship with Paul Pogba. He's quoted him as an inspiration in the past. Pogba's left the French national setup saying that he's enormously proud of Camavinga and the way he conducts himself and that he reminds him of him as a youngster. So maybe that will clinch the deal for United. But of course, Pogba's contract situation is another beast entirely. Yeah. That's not been resolved yet. He's only got a year left on his deal. Either way, like you said, Zach, Camavinga, we didn't get to see him at the Euros, wasn't included in Deschamps' squad of 26, but we will get to see him at the Olympics. And yeah, that might force the agenda if he clinches gold with the French national team. What do you guys think if Manchester United secure Jadon Sancho and Camavinga for just over 100 million euros/pounds? Have they won the summer transfer window? It was very much Chelsea last season. Will it be Manchester United this time around? Let me know in the comments. Before we move on to our winners section then, if you would kindly like this video, because it really does help in terms of the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel with notifications on, we'd be heavily indebted to you. Right, winners, Zach. This week I've gone for Wolverhampton Wanderers after completing a pretty exciting double sweep.
Indeed they have, yes. The first one is none other than Barcelona's Francisco Trincao on loan with an option to buy for £25 million as well. He's only 21 years old, but he made 28 La Liga appearances last campaign for Barcelona, although only 3 of them were starts. In that time, though, he contributed to an impressive 5 goals, racking up 3 shots per 90, 1.1 key passes, and 3.6 dribbles as well per 90. This doesn't mean, though, that he can't rack up elite creative numbers. For Braga, obviously in Portugal, he was averaging almost 2 key passes a game. He also created 4 chances in 76 minutes for Portugal in the UEFA Nations League. But we'll have to take those numbers with a pinch of salt, as obviously coming on for the Blaugrana at such a young age, he's probably trying a little bit too much, trying to be a bit too impressive. And it'll be good to see how he does for Wolves. But what about his kind of past, Chris? How's he been then?
Yeah, well, he joined Barcelona for £27 million from Braga in August 2020 after a breakout campaign that saw him rack up 14 goal contributions in just 17 Liga NOS starts. So he doesn't have a wealth of experience, has done well in the very limited amount of minutes he's been given, but last season looked like progress at Barcelona. He was an effective substitute coming off the pitch, as you've already pointed towards, and I imagine that they probably didn't feel too comfortable with selling him for this price point, but it became more of a necessity because of the whole messy wage issue, because of the debt that they've ran up. They probably hold him in quite high regard, not the official narrative, this is what I've sort of surmised, but unfortunately had to cull him to raise some funds. I mean, I imagine they would have much rather parted ways with Coutinho, but finding it very hard to secure him a suitor, aren't they, at the minute? But for Wolves, very good deal. I mean, they have good options out wide, but needed to bolster, didn't they, their creative unit, owing to, Pedro Neto's injury, Adama Traore's inconsistency. I mean, Neto still the Midlands club's top assister last campaign on 6, despite missing a bunch of games at the end of the season with that knee injury. I think Traore contributed to 4 goals and assists in 37 appearances. Didn't have his most effective campaign, did he? It seemed that people worked out how to sort of manage him out of the game somewhat. Daniel Podence, obviously capable of playing in wide positions as well, but was often deployed as a number 10. So yeah, I don't think this is them just adding a talented player from Barcelona for the sakes of it. They definitely could do with his services. And of course, that second deal was a permanent transfer for Ait-Nouri, the left back who racked up 21 appearances last term for Wolves, was on loan from Angers. I think he originally had an option to buy. They had an option to buy for £20 million, but Wolves have managed to negotiate that down to 10. So that is some good hustling and the bustling. I think he's a bargain for 10 million. He's inconsistent throughout the campaign, but when he played really well, thought he was superb. So yeah, that is very impressive business from Wolves. Let's quickly segue into our losers then, Zach, because it's not significant this week. I mean, there's not been an awful lot of bad business conducted because there hasn't been a lot of business conducted full stop, has there? So I've gone a slightly different way with this. I thought we could end the section with a little England versus Denmark build-up, as they will no doubt want to serve the 3 Lions the biggest L of the year come Wednesday, won't they? So firstly, before I get your thoughts, let's see how the Danish camp are feeling about things 3 days out.
Going into Wembley with 60,000, of course, that's a motivation, and the motivation for us is to silence this crowd. So, but we know it's going to be difficult, but great, yeah.
If they are that confident that they're going to beat us, I think that's a little bit overachieving. But I think it's going to be a tight game. But of course, England is favourite. They're playing at home. But we have shown that it's possible to play on the same level.
So Zachary, do you agree with the sentiments from RB Leipzig's Youssef Poulsen there? Is there any chance of England underestimating Denmark, in your opinion?
No, not at all. Not with Southgate in charge. I think he's actually done a very good job at kind of giving enough respect to each team we play against and preparing the squad for that team. I mean, I think it was mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Thomas Muller kind of said the same thing, and we beat the Germans, and we beat them well, and we deserve to beat them. We respect every team that we play against. Same with Ukraine. I think, you know, we got it right. We went to a 4 at the back. We kind of respected the way they played their formation, and obviously won 4-0. I don't think. I think a lot of there's a lot of hate, I think, outside of England towards England, and I think a lot of people would be very happy, obviously, to see us lose. And I think that's the one thing people keep mentioning, is that we're overly confident. I don't think we are. Like the fans, maybe, but I think that's just us kind of the way we support them. But the actual inside the camp, the team itself, they seem like they've all got their heads screwed on. They respect every single opponent they come up against. It'll be the same for Denmark. I completely think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay too much heed. It's just mind games, isn't it? Like you said, I think we will probably... You know what? If Denmark not shift to a back 3, because they of course played a back 3 in their last game, but if they stick with that formation, I think England will probably match them up again. You know, it'd be interesting to see what happens. I think we played the 4 against Ukraine because we could afford to be a little bit more expansive. Obviously, dropping the 3-4-3 means we can get an extra attacker on the pitch, but I don't think he's going to take this Danish side lightly, particularly given the form that Kasper Dolberg's in, with the wide talent that they've got as well. Yeah, go on,
I was going to say, well, also, there's no point risking it, right? Like, I mean, as you said, we had a bit more confidence of being able to beat Ukraine, whereas I think with Denmark, you have that kind of feeling that they have a better chance of beating us than Ukraine did. So obviously go to the formation where we can kind of defend better, and obviously, you know, maybe dominate the ball a bit better, and also just like, that's the thing, you don't need to score 3 or 4 goals here. You can literally get through to it, get one goal and defend it if needed. But we do have to be aware of, I think Damsgaard, obviously, he's been fantastic throughout this tournament. We do have to make sure we're aware of him.
Yeah, and Myler on the left hand side.
Oh my God, did you see that cross he did? Outrageous.
Yeah. It took until that long for me to work out that he's right-footed, just because he's been playing left-back, of course. But yeah, I think we will probably show them the ultimate respect, like I said, which is matching them up, tactically speaking. But we shall see. Let me know your score predictions in the comments below. And if anyone calls it correctly, with the correct goal scorers, Zach will follow you on every single social media channel.
Sure thing, why not?
There we go. It's a promise. Okay, that is the end of Winners and Losers for this week, guys. Just another quick reminder, if you want 20% off Manscaped's stellar products, then use the discount code on screen now or follow the link in the description below. Like this video, like we said, it really does help. Subscribe to the channel. Be great to see some new faces in the comments. And Zach, is there anything else to plug across Football Daily or Football Daily?
Why not check out us on Snapchat? We bring you daily content on 2 channels over there about transfers, on Transfer Talk, and on Football Daily we bring you the latest stories and gossip from around the world of football. And also check out Euro Football Daily for more YouTube content as well.
Cool, nice one. See you in a bit. Bye.